Welcome back, friends. Last Guy here, and it's time for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Part 1. This is going to be the end of it all with the last escapade, so special contents. Going to do these last two, and then we're going to be done, and then I'm going to take a break before I record the second part. I remember I said originally I wanted to do Delta Rune Chapter 2, but I realized, just wait for the game to be completed and then just do the whole thing. So we'll do Part 2, and then after we do Parts 1 and 2, I'll probably go and do Mario RPG or FF6, whichever one of those two gets picked. But here we go. So we're going to do these guys and these guys. Remaster Magazine, Episode 7 on Briar Road. A chilling escapade about a Shilling's escape from the clutches of Rowley and Pat Beat, who had only just found it on the street. Gina the pickpocket is the obvious suspect, but Ryunosuke, Sholmes, and Iris happen to be passing by, and the plot quickly thickens. Alright, so there's Gina's voice, which is still probably a terrible voice. Raleigh and Pat. I think I remember Raleigh's voice, and Pat, of course, is oh, Raleigh. Okay, here we go. Wonder what it spoils exactly. 30th April, 12:20 p.m., Briar Road. Ow! Woo, that didn't sound good. Sir, Constable Raleigh Beat, reporting for duty. Thanks to the good offices of Lord Von Zeeks, I'm back on my beat here in the capital, doing my best for the good citizens of London, sir. My Raleigh, back in his barber's uniform. You couldn't look any more handsome if you tried. My love, you say the sweetest things. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. Oh my god, these two, every time. To us, Lord Von Zeeks isn't the Reaper of the Bailey at all. Oh no, of course not. He's the patron saint of Barbies. The patron saint? Oh yes, Pat, you're so right, my darling. Keeping us in pocket he is. On my first day back on the job, what did I find in the gutter? A shilling, my love. A whole shilling. That $10? Oh, Raleigh, I always believed in you. I always knew one day you'd find some big, small change. With just that shilling, I could buy you a cheap bunch containing a single flower, my sugar. A single flower? Oh, how romantic. But, I'm so sorry, Pat. Only moments ago, that shilling disappeared. Why would you bring it up? Why would you failed game theory. Why would you bring it up? It was like, I was gonna get you a thing, but then I lost it. Why would you even bring it? You just gave her a roller coaster disappointment. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Was it just because the thought counts? I guess with her it would be the thought that counts, but still, dude. Disappeared? But how, my love? How? I think maybe, no, I'm sure. It was this girl here, sir. You spent my precious shilling, didn't you? You cheeky little diver. Blimey. You took your time getting round to me, didn't you? I thought that lovey-dovey stuff weren't ever gonna end. That is not the voice in anywhere. Scottish. Me mother was a bear. You took your time getting down to me, didn't you? I thought that lovey-dovey stuff weren't ever gonna end. Finding it, looking for it. So, a shilling, you say? Little from your word. Don't know nothing about it. Where's the evidence, eh? Right there. The evidence is dancing around on the back of your hand, young lady. You stole it from me. You lifted it from my pocket just now. You've got a nerve stealing from my Bobby. Cobblers, this coin's mine. How could you know, anyway? How could you know it was taken just now and not? Dear me, you don't get it, do you? We've hardly got a penny to our name, so that coin felt as heavy to me as a bar of gold. Eh? I'm telling you, the moment I left my pocket, I knew. I felt myself get a good few pounds lighter. Ah. Yep, that coin has got my blood. Sweat and tears all over it. What's the matter with you, eh? Mr. Naruto. Huh? What, me? Sorry. When the lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away, not an hour later. This isn't my fault. I haven't stolen anything. And what about you, Sholmes? I thought you're supposed to be a great detective. Dear me, Miss Lestrade. I really gotta find a voice for Gina before the second game. You took your time getting around to me, didn't you? I thought that long dispute was never going to end. You only said give us a minute when we spied you over the road and said hello. And that was 10 minutes ago, Guinea. We've just been standing here listening to you quarrel with this Bobby. You beg your pardon, madam. We shouldn't be troubling the public with police business. But that shilling belongs to us, doesn't it, Riley? Of course it does, my love. It's just for you and me, my darling. This was just supposed to be a nice stroll with Iris and Mr. Schultz before afternoon tea. Why did we have to run into another fiasco on Prior Road? I don't really see how we could be of any help, Gina. There's no way of knowing who the coin really belongs to if it was just dropped in the gutter. I wouldn't be so sure of that, Wuno. What? I have a feeling I might know the answer to the question of whose coin that is. Ah, my bright young fellow, lodger. Let us hear a deduction. Ah, we're gonna get a masterful deduction? Well, there's actually a reason why I suggested a stroll down Briar Road. Oh, what reason? You see, I was here yesterday and, well, I dropped a little something. So I wanted to come and look for it while enjoying an afternoon stroll. Wait, you dropped something? You don't mean... It was the pocket money that Hurley gave me. What's this, Iris? You dropped that, didn't you? Did you? I'm sorry. I went to the market on Lime Street yesterday to pick up some herbs, you see. But on the way, I must have dropped it. The 1 shilling coin you gave me. Oh. A bob hit it. A bobbit. A 1 bobbit, there we go. Yes, and when I thought back over the wad I took, I realized it must have dropped it here. Constable, you haven't seen it, have you? It's on my pocket money. And now it's gone. Well, I'm afraid I don't know anything about that, young lady. What rotten luck, dropping your money like that, sorry. I dare say the constable and his companion could give you a run for your money with their wide eyes. If it's all the same to you, Mr. Chums, I think I prefer to not be used as the yardstick for looking guilty. It's tough, really. Neither does. You dropped it, so it ain't yours no more. Anyway, you know what they say. What goes around comes around, so don't feel bad. Bad luck, Iris. It doesn't look like you're going to get your coin back. Oh, I can't believe I lost it. And straight after Hurley gave it to me as well. Yes, regrettably indeed. I seem to recall that particular coin was rather significant. What do you mean, significant? To be specific, it was especially significant to you, Wono. Significant to me? Ah, you don't mean... It was the coin from last night's wager? The very same, my dear fellow. What's this then? What wager? It was a game of poker. A duel between Hurley and Wuno. Poker? What, that tricky card game you mean? As a lawyer, I have the perfect poker face. You'll never be able to tell what I'm thinking, he said. But depriving Miss Naruhodo of his entire fortune was even easier than finding that missing thoroughbred. Ugh. It was so infuriating. Reliving it now still makes me grit my teeth. Sorry, Iris, I had every intention of paying you back the money I owe you, but you'll have to wait, I'm afraid. Yes, I know. Don't worry. Next month is fine. Let me guess, Odo. Your whole fortune? It was 1 whole shilling, my entire monthly stipend. And I lost all of it. As I handed it over to Mr. Sholmes, I gritted my teeth so hard my gums started to bleed. Jesus. Please, Wuno, don't exaggerate. That's a horrible image. What about a lawyer who borrows money from a 10-year-old girl? Now that's a horrible image. Why do I feel like my reputation with this couple has just fallen to the floor? There are few things more invigorating than taking a man for all he's worth. Don't be so pleased with yourself, Howie. It's not as if Uno ever had a chance of winning. Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Well, using that special ink I developed, anyone could. Thank you, Iris. That will do. I'm sure this conversation is proving very dull for everyone. They cheated? Wow. What's done is done. The game is over now. There's no point crying over spilled milk. Special ink, you say? Well, sir, that sounds like the sort of risky business that's right up my alley. The ink's on the coin, then. Oh, Riley, I love your dauntless spirit. You laugh in the face of danger. Come on then, Iris, spill it. What's this special ink about, eh? It's what's sometimes called invisible ink. All you have to do is wipe the suit and number on the reverse side of every card. And with the aid of some special glasses, the whole game is way better for you. Wait, you were wearing glasses last night, weren't you, Mr. Sholmes? There they are. You said something along the lines of, my eyesight appears to have suddenly worsened. And the moment you failed to question that as odd was the moment I knew I had won the game. Mind games, was it? Trying to throw me off with your eccentric ways? You're telling me Sholmes could see every card what Odo had. What? But that's not mind games, that's blatant cheating! My dear fellow, what an accusation! Would you honestly consider me a cheat? Please, I prefer trickster. Nope, cheat. Whatever you call it, the game doesn't count now. Understand, Mr. Sholmes? Dear me. Well, out of respect for the bad grace with which you take defeat, allow me to return your shilling. Did you hear that, Gina? So give it here. Eh? Leave me out of this. This here one bob bit was mine from the start, no question. No, sir, that there one bob bit was lifted from this here Bobby's pocket only a few minutes ago. So I keep saying, come on then, where's the evidence? Huh? The law, right, is all about evidence. I know my stuff. You see, Mr. Naruhodo, use a trite excuse in court and others will parrot it. Only whenever I do say that in court. It isn't as trite an excuse, you know. As I said, sir, that coin has got my blood, sweat, and tears all over it. That's right, it has. Riley's blood, sweat, and tears are the evidence. Blood, you say? In that case, it's time for this. Do you think? Well, if there's any trace of blood on that coin, we'll soon know about it. Alright, Guinea, hold very still. What? Blam! No, Guinea probably deserves it. Look at that! See there on the coin? It's clearly changed color. In other words, there's blood on this coin. Once again, as I said, sir, that would be my blood, sweat, and tears. Oh, wait. I've seen blood turn that color before. Yes, I know whose it is. I know whose coin it is. What? Well, if only this blood-stained Shilling is. Uno! Huh? Me? And from the appearance of the blood, I would say it is quite fresh. Left within the last 24 hours. Within the last... Then in that case... So, this is the coin which Sholmes had off Odo last night in the poker game. Oh, Uno, do you mean you really did make your gums bleed? I told you I was so infuriated to lose, I had to grit my teeth as I handed over the money. Blimey, you're as out up as me by the sound of it, but I thought you had a proper job. Come on, Gina, just hand it over, would you? The shilling, that's rightfully mine. Fine, alright then. Just stop your bleeding stare. I finally have it back. It's like a dream come true. I nearly had that one in the bag and all. That's wonderful news, Mono. I'm so happy for you. Now then, as you promised, I'd like my money back, please. The shilling I went you before. Huh. You did say that you'd pay it back out of this month's pocket money, didn't you? Oh, yes. Well then, I suppose. My dear fellow, do be kind to your gums. Looks like that shilling was always destined to be taken from you, sir. For some reason, the phrase "saves your eyes" is floating around in my head. So, Iris, as promised, here is the shilling I owe you. Oh, you were paying me already? Well, thank you. Next month will be my way I've been fine, though. What's it all about anyway? What are you lending Odo money for? Ah yes, well actually, it's because I went to the Lime Street market yesterday to buy herbs. For Luna. Herbs? For Odo? Herbs for Odo? Yes, the tea Miss Sasato left behind is top quality Gyokuro tea, but it's just so bitter. Oh, so Sasato's gone, okay. So when Iris suggested mixing it with some herbs to make it more palatable, I asked her to buy me some. That's right, we made a special Japanese herbal tea with the leftover Gyokuro. Gyokuro. I'm going to call it Susie's Special Blend. I do hope you'll all try it. The excruciating bitterness clings to the throat. If you can persuade the bright green gloop to leave the cup, why, it sounds quite delicious. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. There you go, do it slower. Oh, there's more? Okay, that was the end. Well, it would appear this Shilling's brief adventures are now at an end. Adventures? You must agree, my dear fellow, that the coin has made a considerable journey since last night. Let's see, originally it was the coin I was supposed to give to Iris to pay her for the herbs. But then in our poker duel last night, it passed to you, Mr. Sholmes, who gave it to Iris as spending money. But then I dropped it here sometime yesterday. Then my beloved Riley found it a little while ago and picked it up. Before it was lifted from my pocket by this here diver. I then used my favorite gun to show up the blood that was on it. So we're doing TLDR here. And let slip about Sholmes' little scam in his card game last night. The annulment of which resulted in the coin returning to the ownership of Miss Naruhodo, allowing me to pay Iris the money I owed her after all, for the herbs she'd bought in the order to make Susie's special blend tea. And now, after all of that, the coin is resting safely in my pocket. Yeah, you're right. That was an adventure. But what are we supposed to take away from it, eh? That this one shilling coin belongs to Iris and Iris alone, I think? I cannot fault your observation, Miss Naruhodo. Well, you know what they say. What goes around comes around. Why do I get the feeling that Iris knew it was coming around to her from the very beginning? Priceless, as they say. Well then, my dear fellow, how about this evening we indulge in some bitter tea and a bitter rematch? I'll even allow you to stake the coming month's spending money in advance. I fold. I guess that's the way to punchline it. Not the best punchline. It's time for the last one. This one's gonna have Von Zeeks in it. It's like, you know, Naruhodo, I hate you. I hate you very much. The Rants Magazine, Episode 8, in the Bailey. This escapade takes place in the Old Bailey courtroom where the defendant is none other than Sholmes himself, and the charge is a most mysterious murder. What? We're doing a whole murder here? Ionescu naturally advocates for the defense against the unflappable Reaper, Lord Von Zeeks, but Sholmes' testimony calls the true culprit of the crime into question. Alright, here we go. This is it. The last one. Date unknown, the Old Bailey courtroom. This one feels like it's so non-canon that it hurts. Okay, here we go. Oh, Gregson's here. This court is now in session for the trial of Sherlock Holmes. This is a most extraordinary case of murder. Counsels? I assume I may proceed? Yes, yes, my lord. The defense is ready. At your discretion, my lord. Very well. I hereby call in the prosecution to introduce the case. The incident in question took place 2 days ago, late at night when the ground was blanketed with snow. The location of the incident was the residence of the accused, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Indeed, the now famous address of number 221B, Baker Street, was it? The address may have enjoyed fame once, my lord, but will henceforth enjoy infamy for this grim crime. Yes, sir. Well put. The victim, a certain Madame Rosie, was found asphyxiated on the accused's sofa. My word! Objection. But it's unclear as to whether the victim was actually killed in the defendant's suite or not. After all, when Mr. Holmes left the room for only a brief moment, Madame Rosie somehow vanished herself out of his room completely. Vanished herself, counsel? The victim? By true, my lord, there's but one adjoining door between my drawing room and kitchen. Yet having brewed some tea in the kitchen, I returned to find the room completely empty. There was nobody else present? Ordinarily, my fellow lodger Iris would have been at home. However, on the day in question, she had been invited to a meeting of scientific society in the city. Yeah. I'm afraid you have a propensity for exaggeration, sir. You claim the victim vanished herself, but really, it seems to me entirely plausible that she chose to leave via the main entrance to your suite. As it happens, my lord, the door to the accused's room was locked at the time, from the inside. Oh, my throat is not there. 1 second. Very true, Inspector. As such, I can say with considerable surety, that the victim did not leave via my front door. But what about, yes. She could have snuck out through a window. Objection! The windows in the room were not locked, it's true. And the victim had the opportunity, however. However, there was snow all around the building outside, and not a patch of it had been disturbed. Would my learned friend care to explain how the victim could have left without leaving a trail? So the victim, Madame Rosie, somehow vanished from the scene before she was killed. Naturally, I was alarmed by the sudden disappearance of my guest. So I summoned this gentleman who resides in the attic room above my own. We took a cab to Scotland Yard. I can confirm that the defendant called for me and I saw his suite on my way downstairs. And yes, I'm quite sure it was empty, just as Mr. Holmes had said. When we reached the yard, this very detective happened to be there. Ah, well, yes, you see, I was just in my office for a while, having got back from some important business. And then, having explained the situation to the inspector, we traveled back to Baker Street together. At that time, there were no footprints in the snow around the building other than the ones we'd made. Do I take it then, counsel, that you personally witnessed the scene where the incident took place? No, my lord. I went straight up to bed on my own room in the attic. Inspector Gregson, however, was met with the most blood-curdling sight. On Mr. Holmes' sofa, the vanished Madame Rosie. Motionless. So the victim was already dead when you discovered her, Inspector? No, my lord. Not dead, but not far from it. But not far off it. She mustered all her remaining strength to say these dying words. That ratter, Holmes, will be the death of me. Ah, yes, I overheard that remark at the time, too, delivered in a rasping voice full of malice. No! Those words indeed proved to be her last. The victim expired moments later, there on the sofa. The cause of death was identified as damage to the respiratory tract as a result of strangulation. Pray, does the accused dare to contest his inspector's account? Certainly not. In fact, the inspector has done an unusually fine job of summarizing the salient points. Sholmes will be the death of me. Damning departing words indeed. In her final moments, the victim named her killer. You, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Objection!
But the defendant had no reason to take the victim's life. Perhaps you could tell the court, Mr. Sholmes, who exactly this Madame Rosie was? Oh yes, of course. Did I never mention her to you? I had extended an invitation to her that evening, though she is loquacious in the extreme. The most trivial of matters quickly becomes a quarrel. I was only too pleased to leave her presence to make tea. Great! It would appear, then, that the accused did in fact have a motive for silencing his heuristic guest permanently.
Objection!
Putting that tenuous motive aside, what about the other mysteries surrounding the case? I'm inclined to agree with the defense. There remain a number of inscrutable details. The victim's alleged disappearance and subsequent reappearance leaving no trail of footprints, for example. That's right. The crime described by the prosecution could never have happened. Yet the victim named the accused in her dying breath. It seems to me that my learned friend has overlooked a significant detail here. Nonsense! What have I overlooked? The man in the dock, the so-called great detective, all too frequently makes the following bold claim. There's no crime beyond the realms of possibility, no mystery beyond my powers of reasoning. Ah! Why, so, Mr. Sholmes, you will have no difficulty in explaining how the crime that's described could have taken place. Therefore, I propose a toast to the great detective upholding his name. But of course, were I to put my mind to the matter, the crime would immediately appear to all present to be entirely feasible. Please, Mr. Sholmes, whose side are you on? All you need to say is, no, even I can't think of a way that a crime like that could have been committed. Let the accused's admission be noted by the court. Though the crime may appear impossible to us mortals of inferior mental capacity, this man alone claims to know exactly how it was done.
Hold it!
Now hold on, that's a very fragile argument. Thank you, counsels. I believe I've heard more than enough to proceed to my adjudication. The accused great detective did in some inscrutable manner willfully murder the victim, Madame Rosie. I therefore find the defendant guilty. Oh, jeez. Let this man be taken from this courtroom and in some equally inscrutable manner be sanctioned for his crimes. Court is adjourned. Wait, what? What? What?
Hold it!
He already gave the verdict! My lord, please. The truth about the mysteries surrounding this case are known to another besides the great detective. What's this? Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you are coming along wonderfully. You've deduced a fundamental truth about this case, I believe. Which would be, detective? That your truth to this case is known only to the true culprit, obviously. Is that not so, Gregson? Eh? What? Well, I suppose, yes. You don't mean... Are you suggesting, Mr. Sholmes, that you have an idea as to what actually happened that night? An idea, my dear fellow. I could explain the entire incident from start to finish with not a single detail omitted.
Objection!
It seems the detective has failed to grasp the situation. Pray, Mr. Reaper, which of us has truly failed to grasp the situation, I wonder? Then answer me this. You claim that prior to the incident, the victim suddenly vanished without a trace from your room. If so, how exactly did Madame Rosie disappear? Why, naturally, via the window. It was ajar, after all. Well, that can't be! The room is a whole story above street level, and anyway, no prints were found in the snow. Jeez. There are any number of ways one could avoid leaving tracks in the snow, surely. Such as flying, for instance. A fatuous notion. And to where do you propose the victim flew, Mr. Sholmes? Is it not entirely plain? To the culprit's abode, of course. By having left my suite, that is clearly where Madame Rosie was murdered. Take a moment to consider the cruel irony, if you will. By her own volition, she flew directly to her death.
Objection!
What? Is that a parrot? You forget, Detective, the victim's corpse was discovered on your own sofa. No doubt because a killer carried her back there. But what about the lack of footprints in the snow again, then? There just weren't any. Other than our own, from when we returned home ourselves. If by our footprints you refer to your own and mine, you are quite right, but there were those of another. On the night in question, there was one other person who could have conveyed the victim to my sofa. What? Good gracious, to whom do you refer, sir? Gregson. A man whose somewhat unavailing presence at the scene of the crime would be questioned by no one. Unavailing? Ah! You don't mean... Indeed I do. A man who hastened to the scene directly upon learning of the incident at Scotland Yard. Namely... you, Inspector Gregson. Eh? When you arrived at my address on Baker Street, you were carrying the half-dead Madame Rosie with you. You waited for a suitable opportunity and then laid the victim on my sofa. He did what?
Objection!
But we were with the inspector when he arrived. How could he possibly have been carrying the victim? We would have noticed. My dear fellow, a most obvious answer presents itself, does it not? Inspector is rarely, if ever, without his overcoat. The victim was simply conveyed in one of its many pockets. I fail to see what makes this detective great. But I can say one thing with great certainty. A human body cannot fit into the pocket of an overcoat. I believe you may all have fallen foul of a rather significant misapprehension. What? Madame Rosie was not a human. I beg your pardon? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo? Something troubles you, perhaps? Whatever gives you that idea? Exactly what sort of creature was Madame Rosie? Is it not apparent already? A parakeet, of course! Huh? A most self-conceited specimen, in fact. A parakeet? She was an incessant talker, I must say. Her manner was quite intolerable at times. Wont to turn every conversation to a quarrel, I thought to strangle the creature no more than one occasion. You had a quarrel with a parakeet? But of course, why else would she have chosen to fly from my window so uncordially that evening? The abode of the inspector here beside me, no less. To Inspector Gregson's abode? But why? Because that was the parakeet's home, naturally. What are you? The inspector was called away from town for some days, so it was arranged that I would look after the bird. It would appear that she was overcome with a sudden yearning for her keeper, thus prompting her flight from my comfortable suite to the inspector's office at Scotland Yard. Ah. Well, Gregson, I believe it's high time you explained. Give us your account of what happened that night, sparing no details, of course. Inspector Gregson? It was an accident. I got away from being away that evening. You see, I just walked through the door of my office. I never imagined Madame Rosie would be on her way back to the yard as well. I slammed the door shut behind me, just as she was trying to fly through it. So Madame Rosie, oh God. She got sandwiched between the door and the frame and fell to the ground. Never to move again, because of me. Well, I never. I had to do something, and just when I was trying to think of a plan, you fellas arrived talking about some incident at Baker Street. I had to hide Madame Rosie in a hurry, so I stuffed her in my coat pocket and got in the cab with the pair of you. What could possibly have motivated you to behave in such a manner, Inspector? Lord Strongheart, sir. What? Lord Strongheart? Please tell me I didn't hear that right. It was the Lord Chief Justice who asked me to look after the bird in the first place. He'd been living with the pigeons at the Supreme Court until then. But apparently them other birds had started to pick on her. So for the past 6 months or so, I'd been caring for her in my office at the yard. I see. Tragic. If anything happened to that bird, just imagine. No pay, no time off for the rest of my career. You mark my words, that's what's gonna happen. That's why But the victim's dying words, Inspector. The court heard earlier that Madame Rosie spoke the name of her assailant on her deathbed. That rotter, Sholmes, will be the death of me. Indeed she did. Quite uncalled for, wouldn't you agree? With those words are your true feelings, aren't they not, Inspector? Clearly you speak of me often at your office at the yard, in this disparaging manner. A manner that the merry parakeet took much delight in mimicking. Well, come on, I mean, have you read this month's edition of Rant's magazine, eh? I'm... sorry! This is all absolutely true. Why did we have a court case over this? The murder. Something wrong, Lord Von Zeeks? No, nothing. I almost drifted off for a moment there. This is all in his head? It's hard not to drift off when you've been kept waiting 3 hours already. I wonder if we'll manage to meet with Lord Strongheart at all today. We may have to deliver a report on the Windybank case that he asked for on another day. Tell me, Inspector, what became of that bird? Madame Rosie, you mean? She had a narrow escape, but she's still alive. I delivered her back here not long ago, actually, on Lord Strongheart's orders. He's hoping the pigeons will accept her now. Why? Why would they? It was something of a shock to hear that she had been crushed in the doorway of your office. Especially as we were all under the misapprehension that Madame Rosie was a person. Sorry about that. It was Lord Strongheart's odd demand that... Good, you're here. You gonna go broke, boy? I apologize for my tardiness. I'm exactly 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 57 seconds late. Oh no, my lord! No, please don't trouble yourself! Nothing gives us greater pleasure than standing here, doing nothing for hours on end. Okay, heartening. So, let's hear it then. Your report. The Windybank trial is concluded, but this is far from over. It seems that dark, Far Eastern lawyer and I have some shared destiny. We will meet again. Of that I have no doubt. Did you see that, Lord Von Zeeks? Did you? Madam Rosie went flying off among the pigeons there. Happy as Larry she was. Really, Inspector? You must be relieved. There's a better voice in there I was finding, but I swear if I forget it. Alright, there we go. That is it. Yeah, we got Ace Aficionado Award. We are done with the extras. So, next time, whenever I get to recording it, I thought that symbol would be filled when I did all these. Will be the part 2s. Curious about something. Shouldn't go too deeply in here. Yeah, okay. So this was part 1. I did not examine the bed, apparently. I need to examine a violin, apparently. Well, there's certain things you need to examine. The hell? Something with these guys, okay. Didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, apparently they have conversations about ladders and step ladders in part 2, so that's a spoil that I just happened to me. So we did the first ones. And now there's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's always 5, isn't it? Alright, so that's it for now. Next time will be... So, select adventure. Let me see real quick, just so we know. Oh, you just go over. Adventures, The Great Ace Attorney 2, Resolve. The Great Ace Attorney Adventures, The Great Ace Attorney 2, Resolve. Great Ace Attorney Resolve 2? What the? Why is Resolve? Curious name. There we go. That's it for now. Oh, that means Escapades are going to be the other game. Oh, okay. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.